Welcome to today's video where we're going to explore something incredibly important for older adults, traveling after 70. We all know that traveling can be exciting, but as we get older, certain risks become more significant, and those risks aren't always obvious. It's crucial to recognize the hidden dangers because they can sneak up on you and make your trip much more difficult than it needs to be. So if you're over 70 or planning a trip with an elderly loved one, keep watching because we're about to talk about the 5 hidden dangers of traveling after 70 that you need to be aware of. Now we're going to dive right into the first hidden danger. Let's talk about dehydration, which is much more common in older adults than most people realize. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at regulating hydration. We might not feel thirsty as often, which means we're not drinking enough water, and that can be a huge problem when traveling, especially in hot or dry climates. Dehydration can lead to a variety of issues, everything from fatigue and dizziness to more serious complications like kidney failure. So when you're traveling, make it a point to drink water consistently throughout the day, even if you're not feeling thirsty. Trust me, your body will thank you. But dehydration doesn't just happen when you're walking around in the heat. It can also occur when you're flying because the air in airplanes is extremely dry. So don't wait until you're feeling thirsty. Keep a water bottle with you and sip throughout the flight. If you're someone who's prone to forgetting to drink, set a reminder on your phone or make it part of your routine, like drinking water before every meal. It's such an easy way to prevent a problem that could derail your entire trip. The next hidden danger that many people overlook is blood clots. This is something that becomes much more of a concern as we age, especially when we're sitting for long periods, whether in a car, bus, or plane. When you're not moving around regularly, your blood flow can slow down, which increases the risk of clots forming in your legs. If those clots break loose, they can travel to your lungs, heart, or brain, causing severe health issues like a stroke or pulmonary embolism. So, what can you do to reduce this risk? Simple. Make sure to take breaks every hour or so. If you're on a long flight or a road trip, stand up, stretch, and walk around if possible. And even if you're not able to get up, flex your feet and ankles every 15 minutes to keep your blood flowing. It's easy to forget about, but it could make a huge difference in keeping you healthy during your travels. Now let's move on to another often underestimated danger, food and water contamination. When we travel, especially to places where we're not familiar with local health standards, there's always the risk of consuming contaminated food or water. This is something that can cause gastrointestinal issues like diarrhea or food poisoning. And for older adults, it can be much more dangerous, leading to dehydration or worse. In some cases, it can even lead to more severe illnesses, especially in regions where sanitation practices aren't up to standard. So how can you avoid this risk? First off, avoid tap water in places where you're not sure about the water quality. Stick to bottled water and make sure the seal is intact before you open it. When it comes to food, make sure everything is properly cooked and steer clear of street food that's been sitting out in the heat for too long. You also want to be cautious about how food is handled. If you're in a restaurant and something looks off, like the food not being served at the right temperature or being handled in unsanitary ways, don't be afraid to speak up or walk away. It's always better to be safe than sorry, and especially when your health is at stake. Now let's talk about another hidden danger, jet lag. It's something that almost everyone experiences to some degree when traveling to a different time zone, but for older adults, it can hit much harder. Your body's internal clock, or circadian rhythm, can take longer to adjust as you age, which means jet lag can last longer and be more intense. It might cause fatigue, difficulty sleeping, or even mood changes, which can make it harder to enjoy your trip. If you're traveling across time zones, try to adjust your sleep schedule a few days before you leave. If you're heading east, go to bed earlier each night. If you're heading west, try staying up a little later. It helps ease the transition and can reduce the impact of jet lag. Also, when you arrive at your destination, try to expose yourself to natural light, and especially in the morning, to help reset your internal clock. It's tempting to take a nap when you're exhausted, but pushing through it and staying awake until a reasonable bedtime at your destination will help you adjust more quickly. Remember, your body needs time to catch up, and giving it a little help by following these tips can make a world of difference. Now, we can't forget about changes in climate and altitude. Traveling to places with extreme climates, whether it's a hot desert or a high-altitude location, can be much more challenging as we age. Older adults are often more vulnerable to heat stroke or altitude sickness, both of which can be very dangerous. If you're traveling to a hot place, be extra cautious about sun exposure. Use sunscreen regularly, wear lightweight, breathable clothing, and take breaks in the shade when needed. You want to keep your body cool and hydrated to avoid overheating. When it comes to high-altitude destinations, your body may struggle to get enough oxygen, which can lead to dizziness, headaches, and fatigue. To minimize the risk, try to spend a day or two at a lower elevation to acclimate before heading higher up. Drink plenty of water and avoid alcohol or excessive physical exertion during the first few days. Listen to your body. If you start feeling unwell, it's best to descend to a lower altitude and rest. The next hidden danger is mobility challenges, which can be a big issue when traveling for older adults. As we age, it can become more difficult to get around, especially in unfamiliar places. Whether it's climbing stairs, walking long distances, or navigating through crowded airports, these mobility issues can really take a toll on your trip. If you have mobility challenges, it's important to plan ahead. When booking transportation, ask for assistance with boarding and disembarking. Many airports offer services to help seniors get from one gate to another, and some hotels provide accessible rooms or even rent mobility aids like scooters or wheelchairs. You don't have to push yourself beyond your limits when traveling. Take your time, make use of available resources, and don't be afraid to ask for help when needed. Whether it's using elevators instead of stairs, taking taxis instead of walking long distances, or scheduling more rest breaks, the goal is to make sure you stay comfortable and safe throughout your trip. And here's a tip. If you're traveling internationally or going to a place that's not as senior-friendly, research ahead of time. Look up the local accessibility standards and check for things like wheelchair access or the availability of public transportation options that accommodate people with mobility issues. It'll make your trip so much smoother, and you'll avoid any unpleasant surprises when you get there. Now let's move on to the next hidden danger: mental and emotional stress. Traveling can be overwhelming for anyone, but for older adults, it can sometimes feel like a mental marathon. The excitement of the trip might be overshadowed by anxiety, confusion, or even a feeling of being overwhelmed in unfamiliar surroundings. The stress of navigating new places, dealing with language barriers, or managing travel logistics can be mentally taxing, especially when you're already dealing with age-related memory issues or cognitive decline. So what can you do to avoid this mental overload? First, plan your trip carefully and give yourself plenty of time to get from one place to another. Avoid cramming too many activities into one day and make sure to schedule some downtime for rest and relaxation. If you feel overwhelmed, take a moment to step back, breathe deeply, and reorient yourself. It's important to stay calm and not let the little things, like missed connections or unexpected changes, ruin your experience. Another helpful tip is to keep a travel journal or a small notebook with important details, such as the address of your hotel, emergency contacts, and your daily itinerary. This will give you a sense of control and help you stay organized, reducing mental stress. Also, consider traveling with a companion who can help manage the stress and be there for support. It's always easier to deal with challenges when you have someone by your side. Another hidden danger that often goes unnoticed is the risk of falling. We all know that falls can be dangerous, but as we age, the risk of a serious fall increases. Whether it's tripping over uneven surfaces, slipping on a wet floor, or losing balance while getting out of a car, falls can result in fractures or head injuries, which can be especially dangerous for seniors. To prevent falls, always be aware of your surroundings. When walking, keep an eye out for obstacles like curbs, cracks in the pavement, or other tripping hazards. Wear sturdy, non-slip shoes and avoid sandals or shoes that don't provide proper support. If you're walking around unfamiliar areas, consider using a walking stick or cane for added balance and stability. In hotels or other places where you'll be staying, make sure to check that walkways are well lit and free of clutter, and don't hesitate to ask for assistance if needed. Another tip is to make sure your room is equipped with safety features like grab bars in the bathroom or a shower bench, which can make a huge difference when you're getting in and out of the shower or bathtub. Even something as simple as a rug with a non-slip backing can prevent a slip and fall. So be proactive about making your environment as safe as possible. Now let's circle back to something we touched on earlier: mobility aids. I want to emphasize that there's no shame in using mobility aids like walkers, canes, or wheelchairs. These tools can be a game changer when it comes to ensuring your safety and comfort while traveling. If you're someone who doesn't normally need a cane or walker, consider using one when traveling. especially if you're going to be walking long distances or dealing with rough terrain. Many airports and train stations offer complimentary wheelchairs, so don't hesitate to ask for one if you need it. They're there to make your travel experience easier and safer. And if you do need to rent a mobility aid, whether it's a scooter, a walker, or a wheelchair, make sure to book it in advance. Many places offer rentals, but they can sometimes run out, so it's better to plan ahead. The last thing you want is to arrive at your destination and realize that the equipment you need is unavailable. All right, now let's focus on a danger that isn't physical, but can have just as much impact: unexpected medical emergencies. When you're over 70, your health can change in a matter of minutes. Even if you're in good shape, traveling puts stress on the body, and things like altitude changes, dietary shifts, missed medications, or even a stomach bug can trigger a serious medical episode. This is why it's so important to have a full medical plan in place before you leave home. That includes knowing your medical history, your medications, your allergies, and having a list of local medical facilities at your destination. One of the smartest things you can do is talk to your doctor before you travel. Let them know your destination and ask if there are any special precautions you should take. They might recommend extra medications, certain vaccines, or specific do's and don'ts for where you're going. And while you're at it, make sure your prescriptions are filled. Bring more than you think you'll need, just in case you experience a delay or you decide to extend your stay. Don't assume you'll be able to find your medication overseas. Different countries have different names, dosages, and availability. Also, make sure you carry a medical alert card in your wallet or wear a medical ID bracelet that lists your conditions and any allergies. If something happens and you can't speak for yourself, emergency responders will have the information they need to help you. You should also give a copy of your health details to your travel companion or a trusted family member, and keep digital copies in your phone or email for easy access. The more prepared you are, the more peace of mind you'll have during your trip. Let's also not overlook travel insurance. So many people skip it because they think it's just an added expense. But when you're over 70, it's an absolute necessity. A good travel insurance policy can cover medical emergencies, hospital stays, medication replacements, and even emergency medical evacuation, which can cost tens of thousands of dollars without coverage. Look for a policy that specifically covers pre-existing conditions, because not all of them do, and read the fine print carefully so you're not caught off guard. Now let's get into something that seems small, but can ruin your experience if you're not careful. Fatigue. This isn't just about feeling tired after a long walk. As we age, our bodies don't bounce back as quickly, so we need longer recovery times between activities. Unfortunately, travel often demands a fast pace. Catching flights, walking through airports, adjusting to new time zones, sightseeing, standing in long lines, and then doing it all again the next day. This is why older adults often hit a wall of exhaustion a few days into their trip. To manage fatigue, build downtime into your schedule. Don't try to see everything in one day. Spread out your activities and give yourself permission to take breaks, even in the middle of the day. It's okay to rest at the hotel while your travel companion explores a bit. You'll enjoy your trip more if your body feels rested. And don't underestimate the value of a good night's sleep. Choose accommodations that are quiet and comfortable, and if you need to, bring earplugs, a sleep mask, or even your favorite pillow from home. If you take naps during the day, keep them short, 20 to 30 minutes max, so they don't interfere with your nighttime sleep. Eating lighter meals and staying hydrated can also help reduce fatigue. The key is to listen to your body. If it's asking for rest, give it rest. Ignoring those signals just leads to burnout, and that's the last thing you want while traveling. Now here's something not everyone talks about: sensory overload. This might sound like something that affects children, but it can be a real problem for older adults too. Crowds, loud noises, flashing lights, new languages, different foods, strong smells. It can all become overwhelming, especially if you're not used to it. Add jet lag and fatigue to the mix, and even a simple train station can start to feel like too much. Sensory overload can lead to irritability, anxiety, or even confusion, especially for those with early cognitive decline. To deal with this, try to build in quiet time during your trip. Find parks, quiet museums, or serene cafes where you can relax away from the hustle and bustle. Carry noise-canceling headphones if you're sensitive to loud environments. Use sunglasses in places with harsh lighting. And if you feel overwhelmed, don't push through it. Step away, take a few deep breaths, and regroup. Being aware of your sensory limits is not a weakness. It's just smart self-care. Let's take a moment to talk about hydration and nutrition, which might sound basic, but they're often overlooked during travel, and for older adults, that can lead to serious health issues. When you're out sightseeing or on a long flight, you might not feel thirsty, but that doesn't mean your body isn't dehydrated. Dehydration can sneak up fast and lead to dizziness, confusion, or even fainting. And when you combine that with unfamiliar food or a skipped meal, your energy levels can crash before you know it. So, what can you do? First, carry a refillable water bottle everywhere you go and sip from it regularly, even if you don't feel thirsty. If you're flying, remember that airplane cabins are especially dry and you lose water through your breath more quickly. So drink even more than usual. When it comes to food, aim for small, frequent meals instead of big, heavy ones. This keeps your blood sugar steady and helps prevent the energy dips that can ruin your day. Also, don't experiment too much with unfamiliar dishes, especially if you have a sensitive stomach or dietary restrictions. Stick to what your body knows, and if you want to try local cuisine, do it in moderation. Keep a few healthy snacks on hand, like nuts or granola bars, for when you're in transit or between meals. It's a simple way to keep your strength up without relying on airport food or roadside diners. Now let's move into the last of the 5 hidden dangers: loneliness and isolation, which may sound surprising because travel is supposed to be a social and enriching experience. But for older adults, especially those traveling alone, it can also feel surprisingly lonely. Being far from home, surrounded by strangers, not speaking the local language, or not having someone to share the experience with can trigger a deep sense of isolation. And loneliness doesn't just affect your mood, it can have a real impact on your physical health and immune function too. If you're traveling solo, make an effort to connect with others. Join group tours where you can meet people, even for a short time. Stay in places that have common areas or organize social events, like some hotels or cruise ships. And don't forget to check in with family or friends back home regularly. Just hearing a familiar voice can make a world of difference. If you're tech savvy, set up video calls through your phone or tablet to feel more connected. And if you're traveling with a partner or friend, don't forget to be present with each other. Travel can sometimes bring out stress or conflict, but it's important to stay supportive. Listen to one another and share your thoughts. A little patience goes a long way. Also, take photos together and make memories that you'll talk about for years. These shared experiences can help you feel more grounded and less alone in unfamiliar environments. It's also okay to acknowledge that you're feeling homesick or disconnected. Don't ignore those feelings. Talk about them or write them down. Journaling is a great way to process emotions during travel, and it gives you something to look back on. Loneliness doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It's just your heart reminding you that connection matters. Now that we've covered all 5 hidden dangers of traveling after 70, physical health risks, mental and emotional stress, risk of falling, unexpected medical emergencies, and loneliness, it's important to understand that travel isn't off limits. In fact, it can be incredibly enriching, healing, and joyful. The key is to be aware, prepared, and honest with yourself about what your body and mind need at this stage in life. Travel with intention. If something feels too fast, slow it down. If something feels unsafe, skip it. If you need help, ask for it. That kind of wisdom is something younger travelers often ignore, but you, with your life experience, can use it to have a more meaningful and comfortable trip. You've earned the right to travel on your own terms, and that's a powerful thing. Before you go, make a checklist: your medications, your travel insurance, emergency contacts, local hospitals, and your mobility aids. Talk to your doctor. Let your family know your itinerary. These small steps can make a big difference. And once you've got all that in place, let yourself enjoy the world. Let yourself experience new cultures, taste new foods, and create new memories safely and confidently. There's a whole world waiting for you, and you deserve to see it. Not in a rush, not while worrying, but with a calm mind, a prepared body, and an open heart. Whether you're visiting family, crossing something off your bucket list, or just seeing where the road takes you, the key is to travel smarter, not harder. And remember, it's not about how many places you see, it's about how deeply you feel each one. So pack your bags with care, walk with wisdom, and let every journey you take from here on be a celebration of your strength, your resilience, and your story. Now, since we've covered the dangers and the precautions, Let's spend these last few minutes talking about something just as important. What makes travel meaningful after 70? This stage of life isn't about rushing through tourist spots or checking boxes. It's about depth over speed. It's about sitting in a quiet cafe in a small village, watching the world move slowly, feeling the sun on your face, maybe talking to a local or just soaking in a moment that feels peaceful and real. That's the magic of travel when you've lived long enough to know what really matters. You don't need 20 destinations in 10 days. Maybe it's just one place, explored slowly, with time to breathe and reflect. Maybe you return to a country you visited in your youth, but now you see it through wiser eyes. Or maybe it's the first time you're stepping out of your home country and everything is new and a little intimidating, but exciting too. Whatever it is, make it yours. That's what makes the experience authentic. And don't forget, you're a storyteller. When you travel at this age, you're not just collecting souvenirs, you're collecting stories. You're adding chapters to a book that your kids, grandkids, friends, and maybe even strangers will be curious to hear. People look to you for wisdom, for guidance, for perspective. Your journey matters more than ever now, not just for you, but for everyone who sees you living life fully and bravely. You might inspire someone younger who's afraid of growing old. You might spark a friend's courage to finally take that trip they've been putting off. You might even heal parts of yourself that needed new scenery, fresh air, or just a different view of the world to feel whole again. That's the power of travel. It doesn't just show you new places, it reveals new parts of you, even after 70. So yes, there are hidden dangers. Yes, you have to plan more carefully, listen to your body more closely, and be more intentional about every step you take. But don't let that stop you. Let it guide you. Let it make you sharper, smarter, and more aware. With that kind of mindset, there's almost nowhere you can't go, physically or emotionally. And if your mobility is limited or your health doesn't allow for long-distance travel anymore, that doesn't mean adventure is over. There are beautiful places close to home, a nearby botanical garden, a weekend in the countryside, a museum in a neighboring town. It's not always about the miles, it's about the mindset. You can still explore, still connect, still feel alive, no matter the distance. Let your age be a badge of courage, not a limitation. Let it remind you that every trip, every step, every moment you get to experience something new is a gift. And don't forget to share what you learn along the way. Your insight, your stories, your laughter. The world doesn't just need more travelers, it needs more travelers like you. So as you think about your next journey, pack your bags with confidence. Pack them with your favorite shoes, your medications, your itinerary, but also pack them with curiosity, gratitude, and that quiet strength you've built over a lifetime. The road ahead is still open, still full of surprises, still yours to walk. Travel well, travel wise, and never stop exploring. No matter your age, your journey is far from over. In fact, the best parts may still be waiting for you just around the next corner.